All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, I just wanted to get on here and talk about the current situations the Steelers find themselves in this off-season period. We are a little bit before the draft. We are out of free agency, at least all of the big name one-hitter quitter free agency portions. And it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since I've made a video. Now, a lot of that is to do with the fact that things have kind of cooled down a bit, at least on the Steelers side, at least on the news side, and it's a lot more focused on like the mock draft process and the draft process. And as you guys know, I'm not really the most informed about that, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best. And yeah, so I wanted to get on here and talk about the Tyler Boyd situation, the contract. I wanted to talk about our wide receivers in general for a little bit and maybe give some, draft takes or whatever. I also do want to kind of state another reason for the videos kind of being, I don't know, I guess less than usual is, as you can see, if you don't know, I did move and it's definitely a different situation. And I'm just trying to get used to it, man. I'm trying to get used to recording. I don't live alone, if that makes sense. And just I'm trying to figure out the best times to record. I'm trying to figure out the best times that I feel comfortable again, if that makes sense. Like I know no one wants to hear it, but it is a change for me, and it's a change to try to get these videos out and still feel the same way as I used to. Still feel like as energetic. I want to give you guys the same kind of content I have been. So with all that said, who really cares, right? Let's get into the video. If you guys are a Steelers fan, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the bell. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And shout out to the members, man. We do have one member. Shout out to Cedric for joining the memberships. Memberships are available. And yeah, that's a shout out. So if you guys don't know, we have been in discussions, in kind of negotiations with wide receiver Tyler Boyd, who actually did go to Pitt. So I'm pretty hype about that. I know a lot of people are kind of over Pitt. Also, I have cats too. I don't know if you guys can say I have cats too, and they make recording a little bit harder as well. So there's that. But yeah, we have been talking to Tyler Boyd, and it seems we did offer him a contract, a 2-year, $10 million contract. And I don't know. He's not signing it. He doesn't necessarily want to sign it. Now, it's reported by Mark Cabali. Mark typically is right. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like Mark Cabali gets things right, right? And so he's reporting that, so I have reason to believe that it's true, and this is the actual deal. I don't know if it's there. I don't think it's 10 a year. I think it would be like 5 a year. 2-year, 5 million. That's what I think it would be. But if it's not, oh well. And really, is this that big of a deal? I know we kind of do need receiver. Obviously, we lost Deontay Johnson. It really is just George Pickens and Calvin Austin at the moment. And, Quez Watkins and big Cordero Patterson, the running back who used to play receiver. Our receiver room is definitely a little lacking, right? And, so missing out on Tyler Boyd, it does kind of stink. And it's not over yet. Maybe we'll still end up signing him. But just at this current moment, man, is this Omar Khan's first miss? Is this the first time someone was like, nah, I'm good? Because it seems like that, at least for this offseason, this was the first time that we didn't get a player we wanted, man. We got 2 quarterbacks we wanted, man. So this is a bit interesting. Now, as I said, I don't think it's like the craziest, especially with the wide receiver class that we find ourselves in. We have receivers at the top of the class that maybe we go out and get, like Brian Thomas Jr., like I don't want to say Adonai Mitchell or Adonai Mitchell, something like that. There's a few first round receivers that I could see us maybe getting. I've even seen Romo Dunze, but we would have to hella trade up to do that. But maybe we go ahead and do that. But also, this receiver class is pretty deep in the later rounds, and I think it kind of works out in our favor for that because we have some higher needs, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But I think we do have some higher needs. But we were trying to get Tyler Boyd, right? We've been linked to Romo Dunze, who once again, if you guys don't know anything about the draft, big truz, I really don't either. But Romo Dunze is at least I want to say 3rd or 4th receiver, because it goes not in this order, but Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. I think Romo Dunze theoretically falls to that 3 spot. I guess it could be a toss-up between maybe somebody else, and order those 3 how you want. But Romo Dunze is somebody who we've apparently been linked to, who we have interest in, and and he's like a top dog, probably top 20 pick. We have pick 20. He'll probably be a top 15, top 10 pick. Romo Dunze, and apparently we're in on him. So that leads me to believe we are trying to get a splash playmaker at that receiver spot. Now, is Tyler Boyd that guy? He went to Pitt, so hey man, he's kind of him, but I don't think he is like the end all be all. He's not Justin Jefferson, who apparently we were going to get a little bit ago, so he's definitely not him. But I would, I would be happy with getting Tyler Boyd. I don't know. I still would want to get another receiver too if we did get Tyler Boyd. But we're definitely headed in that direction. And something else I wanted to bring up too, and it kind of falls off of the back of that. We have another Mark Cabali tweet here. Shout out to Blitzberg for this. On why the Deontay Johnson wanted out of Pittsburgh. Johnson was traded because he was heading into the final year of his contract. He wasn't going to be re-signed, and he felt the Steelers quarterback situation wasn't going to put him in the position to cash out on another contract next year. Here's the kicker, though. Here's the thing. Here's like the very unfortunate thing, maybe. Unfortunate for me because I like Deontay. And I know there's a lot of fans out there, a lot of Steelers fans out there that actually do like Deontay as well. I know there's, a lot of Steelers fans who don't like Deontay Johnson as well. But we traded Deontay Johnson, right, and still had Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett only on the roster, right? Like, we traded Deontay, and, like, at the time we traded him, we only had Kenny. About, 4 or 5 hours later, we didn't have Kenny Pickett anymore, and we had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. So we, on our end, we upgraded our quarterback position. However, we now turn it to Deontay, who I'm sure was at least a little clued in on, hey, we're probably, going to try to get Russ if we can. Hey, we're going to make a move for a quarterback if we can. I know the narrative all off season, the narrative and like the Steelers were putting out was, wait, guys, I got to stop the video right now. Do you see this guy? This guy's name is the Jizzler, bro. Insane. But anyway, so I'm sure Deontay, like I know the narrative was, hey man, Kenny Pickett's our guy and, we're sticking with Kenny, right? But I'm sure Deontay was a little bit more clued in. At least I would hope he is. I would hope, our playmakers are a little bit more clued in than what they're telling us, right? So maybe he knew, maybe he didn't. However, he also gave us, 4 or 5 years, and we never really figured it out. Not to say he's without fault, because, he definitely has his situations that led him, that led fans to, not really be on his side, and maybe the Steelers not be on his side. But that's just unfortunate timing for the guy, man, because it really seems like we're going to try to do something with our quarterback situation. And he is now on the Panthers, who, hey, man, Bryce Young didn't have the greatest year. Is it time for the Panthers to move on? Do they got to sign Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, however many quarterbacks we were linked to? I'm just saying Bryce Young didn't have the greatest of times. Not to say he won't. Not to say the Panthers won't get better with Deontay, because I'm sure they will. But the situation he was put into just wasn't necessarily the best. But I do get it. I really do get it, because once again, with every year he came out there, he did his thing, but like just it wasn't there, man. And I remember his rookie year and second year, I want to say like he was at the highest, the highest that he's been. And ever since then, it's just been dropping, man. It's really been, no pun intended. You see what I did? It's just been dropping, man. And we had the no touchdowns year. We had last season, I thought he played pretty. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is why I love Deontay. Like, I know he's good. And we all know he's good. And we all know if put in a situation, if put on a team without Matt Canada, if put on a team with a real offensive coordinator and a real offense, he'll probably do even better. But he was still able to do pretty good in a, horrible, shitty offense, And, say what you want about Kenny and Mason and all them. Like, he had no quarterback, right? And he's, I want to say 29, maybe 28, 29, 30. He's definitely up there. Maybe his last chance for a pretty big deal. He did get a second deal in Pittsburgh, which to me was surprising at the time, because we know how we do receivers. But that shows, hey, man, this is a guy who was able to get a second contract with the Steelers, and we know how we treat receivers. Like, that to me shows something. And he's coming up on a new contract, and hey, man, he just, he wanted a chance to maybe get paid. Hopefully this year he has a great year. And maybe Carolina will keep him or somebody else will give him a high deal. I don't know. But he felt that was the best, way he would be able to get that high contract. And so I can't blame him, man. And I definitely, as I've mentioned, we've definitely had our faults too. And so I can't blame him. However, he's not a Steeler anymore. And his big Steelers, his big Russell Wilson, big Justin Fields, even big Kenny Pickett, man. I know we're out on it, but even big Kenny Pickett, like, really, bro? Like, now you're on the Panthers, bro, and Kenny, same thing. Like, oh, you want to, I want to be the starter. I want it handed to me, and now you're on the Eagles with no chance. Not too much on Kenny Pickett. I still love Kenny, but big Steelers fans. And so, they wanted to be out. Whatever, man. They're out of here. We're worried about them now. We're worried about our receivers, our players. And overall, man, too, I am just excited. I've stated this over and over and over again, but I really am excited for this upcoming year. I'm excited to see what we do in the draft and at receiver. We're still maybe talking to Tyler Boyd. We've signed Quez Watkins. We've signed, I want to say, another receiver as well, besides Quez Watkins and not Cordero. If I'm like just forget. Van Jefferson, right? Van Jefferson is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Like, what are you guys talking about? More like Van Jefferson, because he's a W. Just an excellent signing there too. And so we will get that figured out. And I know it's like maybe we don't maybe we don't need this, right? You guys just got to hear me out, please. Like, I know we don't need it. And I know, like, the move is tackle. The move is, I'm getting the jizzler off the screen now, by the way. I know the move is tackle. I know the move is, like, offensive line, maybe even corner. But I know most likely the move is offensive line, right? And, like, that is the important, for sure, move winning teams do that. Like, we got to draft an offensive lineman at some point, at least within the first 2 rounds, right? But I will say, it is definitely exciting to think about, man, maybe we're going to just make a move and get Romo Dunze, man. I got to stand on this. I am somebody who wanted Jordan Addison last year. I know we got Broderick, and I know we got Joey Porter Jr. with our first 2 picks, and both of them worked out fantastically. I know. But I'm just saying, I wanted Jordan Addison last year, and I saw the writing on the wall, man. I really did. But it was even better because, like, we had Kenny, and if you guys don't know, Kenny and Jordan Addison, they were a duo. Jordan Addison had like 20 touchdowns with the guy. I thought, hey, we bring him in and he'd help. So I've been on, we need a receiver since last year because I was like, hey, man, we all hate Deontay. Hey, no offense, Deontay, but, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. We all hate Deontay. The Steelers, we don't keep receivers. We're probably going to get rid of Deontay, so let's take Jordan Addison now, right? So that was me last year. Me this year, Deontay Johnson lists. I should want a receiver more, right? Like, I feel like we should get a receiver more than we should have last year. And we're going to have a new system. If we want to spend that first round pick on a receiver, bro, I'm not mad at it. I know a lot of people will be. I know that's not the move. But isn't it the move? Like, guys, isn't it though? Like, George Pickens, Quez Watkins, Van Jefferson, really, Calvin, really not too much on them. But guys, you guys can kind of see it. And so it definitely though, like, there is depth later in the draft for sure. We really don't need our first round pick on a receiver. But don't we, I just start thinking about it a little bit. So I wouldn't be mad at it. Like I said, I know a bunch of people would be, but I wouldn't necessarily be the most mad at it. But yeah, we will end up seeing what we do. I definitely think within the first 4 rounds, like, the fucking safest bet of all time. But within the first 4 rounds, we will have a receiver, if not 2. So we will see about that. Something else I wanted to bring up as well, speaking of receiver. Big Chase Claypool, man. Former Steelers and Dolphins Chase Claypool could be heading to the Canadian Football League. I know people have done this. I know people have shit on Chase Claypool. I know people have been shitting on Chase Claypool. And if you guys think I'm about to get on here and shit on Chase Claypool again, you're wrong. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I was just, I'm just bringing it up here. Chase Claypool could be going to the CFL, and I know there was a lot of people kind of in on Chase Claypool at a point. I was too. But I wanted to bring it up because it's like, bro, what happened, man? Like, what? Like, how did Chase just not be able to play in the NFL after the rookie year he had? Even in the rookie year he had, when you think about it, here we are in 2024. He had the Eagles game, right? He had the Eagles game. Maybe had another game in between that, but it never was there. I don't want, like, his separation was the issue. I don't want to say, like, he couldn't get separation because I remember there were chances. Like, there was a bunch of passes thrown to him to where it's like, 50-50, maybe he has a chance, maybe he doesn't. Maybe that leads to, he's not getting separation because it's 50-50 because someone's close to him, right? But we've known that. Like, his thing is supposed to be able to make these 50-50 catches. And at least on the Steelers side, I don't know how it went in Chicago. I don't know how it went in Miami. It never really worked out. And I guess it's sad. Like, it definitely is sad. Chase, he wants to play in the NFL, then, that's sad. And maybe one day he'll be able to come back. But the Canadian Football League isn't necessarily the worst, right? Like, it's not the worst. I don't know why he's not in the XFL, low-key. Maybe he thought he was going to get another deal and just it hasn't happened. But he should be playing in the XFL. And I still think there's hope for Chase Claypool, man. I want all that to say. I want all of that I just said, like, to that be the overall point. I still do think there is hope for Chase Claypool. I don't know. It just hasn't worked out up to this point. This might be an insane thing to say, and like football heads, football nerds, if you guys are still watching, this might be an insane thing to say. Can he play tight end? Is that a thing? Like, I know he has to block, but like, there'll be tight ends who don't block all the time, man. Can Chase Claypool do that? Like, maybe imagine Chase on like a linebacker, and like, he definitely has the size. I want to say he's like, what, 6'4", 6'5"? Like, maybe be a smaller tight end. He puts some muscle on. Like, well, hey, man, we're trying to save your career, Chase. Like, we really are. We're trying to keep you in the NFL, so I can't be the only person who's thought of that, though, right? Like, someone else has had to have thought of that and maybe brought it to him, or maybe it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Can Chase Claypool play tight end? Can he play in the NFL? Can he play in the CFL or the CFL? I hope he gets a deal there. But, we will end up seeing big Chase Claypool, though. I hope things work out. And it was a fun time in Pittsburgh. And you can see in this Miami picture, guy looks pretty happy, man. He was excited to be a Dolphin. He didn't end up playing much for the Dolphins, but it is what it is. Shout out to the Chicago Bears for that second round pick for Chase Claypool. A shout out to the Eagles for that third round pick for Kenny Pickett. And, like I said, these guys aren't Steelers anymore. I brought up 3 players that aren't Steelers, 4 if you count Kenny Pickett. They're not Steelers anymore. And so I wish them luck, but it is all about the Steelers, and it is all about our team. One last thing I wanted to bring up too, here it is. The biggest team needs for the Steelers after free agency. This is from PFF Pitt Steelers. O-line, wide receiver, and cornerback. O-line is a very broad term. I would say specifically we need a center and we need a tackle. Specifically as to which one we need more. No pun intended. But I said this in numerous videos, man. The Steelers keep doubling down on Dan Moore. We as fans can only do so much. We as fans can only say, hey, like this dude gets beat every play. Hey, this guy, like he's always getting beat. What's going on? Hey, Kenny Pickett's hurt again, bruh. It was the left tackle again, bruh. But hey, the Steelers, like, to me, there is a world where, we just don't even get a tackle in the first whatever rounds, even though like we've been linked to like Mims. We've been linked to Graham Barton, who might not even be a tackle. I'll bring that up in a second. But Graham Barton, if you guys see him on like mock drafts and stuff, he's listed as a tackle. But there's talks about him moving to center on the offensive line. The Steelers, we absolutely love putting offensive linemen in the wrong position. And so any versatility, we love versatility on the O-line. So there's a chance we get Graham Barton the tackle and he plays center, right? Like there's a chance with that. But as I mentioned, the Steelers seem to really love Dan Moore. And so I don't know if, I don't know. Maybe we're just doubling down, man. Maybe we're just like, hey, Dan Moore again, bro. But if not, we could definitely use an actual right tackle, so that way Broderick can go back to the left. And, we get the tackle situation. And then later on in the draft, whether it's because, Graham Barton flying up there, Jackson Powers-Johnson, the number 1 center, maybe he falls a little bit with Graham going up, the potential for him at center, right? And so maybe Jackson falls, maybe Zach Frazier falls, or maybe even at this point, who I think I saw Nick Farbaugh say something like this, but Cedric Van Pran is becoming a little underrated. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at getting Cedric maybe in like the 3rd or 4th round. And I think he's from Georgia, or like he played at Georgia. I think he could be a solid center. Like, and we're a team coming off Mason Cole, bro. No offense, Mason Cole, but like, can it be worse? I don't know. So if we can get someone for our 3rd or 4th round pick, that'd be solid. But I could also at the same time see us using our 1st round pick on like Jackson Powers-Johnson, or maybe even trading down slightly and using a later 1st round pick on Zach Frazier. So I could see that. I could see us getting a tackle, right? And on top of that too, like the 3rd need corner. There's been, and this is my mock drafts, but there's been drafts where like Quinion Mitchell falls to us. There's been drafts where Cooper DeJean falls to us. There's been drafts where he's on Clemson. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but he's rated pretty highly. Like I've seen that, and we do need some depth on the outside and in the slot. Like we really could use a corner as well. So I could see that 1st round pick happening to a corner at the same time. And we talked about wide receiver, like maybe we'll do that too. Like there's really, it's pick your poison, bro. And like I said, I know offensive line, at least to me, is like the boring pick, but it's the team, or it's the pick that winning teams do. It's the pick that we likely need. We're always talking about it. So, maybe there's that. Before free agency as well, quarterback could have been up there. Before free agency as well, inside linebacker could have been up there. But hey, man, we took care of those. We addressed those, and here we are now. What are we going to do with our 1st round pick, guys? The overall point of this video, what the heck are we going to do with our 1st round pick? Are we going to get a tackle? Are we going to get a center? Are we going to get a wide receiver? We still could get Justin Jefferson. Definitely keep holding your breath on that. And, could we get a corner? Are we going to get Kool-Aid McKinstry? Are we going to get him? Are we going to get Quinion Mitchell? Are we going to get, Teron Arnold from Alabama? He's somebody else who's like has fallen to us. And it's like 5th rated tackle, no offense, but 5th rated tackle, or number 2 corner in the class, or number 1 corner in the class. It's like, at that point, you got to pick, the best available when we have these needs. And same thing too at wide receiver. It's like, all right, do we want 5th tackle? And I shouldn't say this, because Brian Thomas Jr. is like, 4 or 5 on the receiver chart. But he's just like, he's definitely a playmaker too. And I want to say, like, between the tackle and between just 5 tackle and then 5 wide receiver. The 5 wide receiver, who's Brian Thomas Jr., I believe, to me, has like more of the upside than 5 tackle Tyler Guyton. No offense, Tyler Guyton. Please, Tyler Guyton's gonna fuck Zay and the Steelers, bro. Guaranteed, bro. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like, I think the upside there is at receiver. I think the upside at like corner 3 is better than the upside at corner or at tackle 5. And then same thing, we go to center. Center 1, Jackson Powers-Johnson. Center 2-ish, or 1.5, I guess, is Graham Barton, because we're going to move him to center. And then there's Zach Frazier. Then there's Cedric Van Pran. Like, I don't know. It's all about what you want. It's all about what the Steelers feel that they need. Maybe we'll get... Oh, and there's also on the defensive line. You don't want to, forget about that. But we have met with some people on the defensive line. I don't think we're going to use our first-round pick on that unless somebody like super falls. But we'll probably use a later-round pick on that for sure. And then from there, man, we have all the pieces. We have all the moves that, like, we as a team, like, have done. Is just going to be on the players now to actually execute. It's going to be on Mike Tomlin to coach the boys up. And, I have reason to believe that we're going to be pretty good because Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. And so, we get our roster, we cross our T's, we dot our I's, and I'm excited, man. I'm going to be excited for whoever we draft. They're going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Russell Wilson, bro, is a Pittsburgh Steeler, man. Look at this guy, man. How could I not be excited? I think I still have one more thing up here. Oh, yeah, this is about Graham Barton. Like, he tests like a freak athlete. Like, this dude is super athletic. You can see him, though. He's at the tackle right now in this picture, but we're going to move him to center because we are the Steelers. And, hey, man, potato. You play tackle? Oh, you mean center, right? Right, that's how we move. So we will see what ends up happening. Anyways, guys, I think that is going to do it for me for this video. Don't even know what I'm going to title it. Probably going to upload it now at 12 a.m. And so, hey, man, if you guys are still awake, big Noti gang, big late night, big vamps out here. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed already. Shout out to the future subscribers, man. And shout out to the members. Shout out to Cedric. And will see you in the next video. Peace out.